Hello everyone, welcome to Confederation Podcast, where we are bringing an inspiring story of a woman leader who is creating a positive change to the society. I'm your host, Mohana Indukuri, founder and CEO of Reni.ai. Today I'm thrilled to have Vanitha Datla, the Vice Chairperson of Elico Limited. She is known for shaping industries with her resilience, innovation, and leadership. She is not only breaking the barriers, she is also building bridges for many other women to follow. Vanitha Datla, it's a real privilege to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mohana. It's a pleasure to be here.
On my personal note, I'm very happy to be here with you because you are my well-wisher, you're a guide, and I'm definitely going to have a very positive conversation which will help each other and also many people who are watching this.
Thank you.
So coming to the questions, coming from a very well-established family, it comes with a lot of perks, but definitely a lot of expectations. Honestly, tell me, do you feel any issues or what were the things when you are onboarding?
Yeah, so Mohana, I think that's a preconceived notion when you come from a background, and a lot of people feel that you're born with a silver spoon. Everything is offered to you on a platform or on a tray, and you can pick and choose what you need to do. But unfortunately, see, this is a story that started, or my journey started almost more than 35 years back when patriarchy, which is very common in our communities, in our society, in our country, was still one of the main drivers of the family. And gender is a major issue, and women, I think, always have played a minor role. So is the case in my own family, though my grandfather had started industry after he retired. I think I was probably in my early teens when he had started. So I was exposed to that environment of being in a business family. But again, there were very implicit cues that women were not really given those opportunities. But for me, my own father is actually a surgeon and a very well-known, reputed surgeon. Had a long career in the United Kingdom, and I personally had a close connection, and I wanted to be a doctor like him, a medical doctor. We had our own nursing home, where I used to live
Nice.
just below.
Nice.
And so, in that environment, I really thrived. And I was very sure that I would become a doctor like him. But unfortunately, destiny didn't have that in my own, in my future. So, I didn't get through the medical entrance. And what happened is I had to look at alternatives. Unfortunately, about 3 decades back, families really didn't groom or counsel girls, especially because for them the only issue was getting the girls married.
Yes.
So is the case in my own family. They were on the lookout for a good groom for me, a good family that I could get and go and settle. They really didn't put any efforts in understanding what my career needs or career wants were. So because of that, I pivoted and sort of did a Bachelor of Arts. I was not at all interested in those subjects that I had to choose, but just because some friends were taking that course, I just followed them. And that's how it happened. So, I mean, when you say that I come from a place of privilege, it has both pros and cons. Yes, I could have, not fought for a lot of things because I had a lot of things that were offered to me in terms of comforts, in terms of being well placed in society. But when it came to personal needs, I wanted a professional career. I wanted to pursue something. Those I think I didn't get the opportunity because of the way the society was framed.
Yes. So imagine you were coming from a business family and then a surgeon. Still, you faced some of the
Yes.
issues. Imagine some other common people who didn't have openness to education and also forget about thriving.
Yes,
So,
very true. I understand that. What I really realized in that entire journey is, whatever the circumstances, if you can pick and choose the best things that can help you move
Yes.
forward, utilize them. Because if I had set my mind to be a doctor, and just because it didn't happen, had I given up and just become a housewife, I wouldn't have reached the place that I am today.
Yes.
So I think what I learned in this entire journey is whatever happens to you, whatever cards you are dealt
Yes.
with in destiny, make the best use of it and see how you can shape your own life, going ahead.
Correct. That's why. So not only you have utilized the, or you yourself came up with the opportunities rather
Yes.
than just what is given to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
You are also helping other women to follow the path. So not just surviving, not just making it on your own. You are actually helping so many.
That's because, Mohana, I understood during my entire journey, career journey, it was quite a lonely journey, especially being a woman those days,
Yeah.
especially being in very male dominated industries. I worked with my grandfather and with my brother, and a major part of my career, almost 50% of my career, was in cement industry. Where, as you know, it is a very male dominated, it's a core sector industry.
Correct.
So I understand the pains of what women go through when
Yeah.
they are the minority in the workplace.
Yes.
So at that point of time, I really didn't understand whether one could change things. Probably I didn't have the guts, I didn't have the experience, I didn't know, I didn't want to rock the boat. But today I've come with maturity, I have a lot of experience behind me, and I understand, I can see when other women are struggling. So I try my level best to help them out, to offer them at least a listening ear, so that
Yes.
they come out and share their issues, share their problems. And then I make sure that we create, at least in the current company that I'm working, I make sure that there are a better environment, a better ecosystem for women to thrive.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, women and men, if they have competency, if they have merit, they will do very well. I mean, gender
Correct.
is actually not an issue there at all. It is only the societal mindsets that create the complexity of gender there.
Yes. And also, what I say is generally, if you have to come out of that troublesome situations, you become a rebel. But I've
Yes.
never seen, I also have a little bit of that trait
Yeah.
in me, that how to work together, how not to go against the
Yes.
societal norms,
Yes.
because it's not easy.
Yes.
So go with the flow, but still make
Yes.
the others understand that you are capable or you have
So
real
I think
passion.
what you said is very true, Mohana, and I think that is what has helped me, because I never ever sort of rebelled with family
Yes.
and said I'm purely career and
Yes.
I will not do anything on the
Yes.
family side.
Yes.
So I assured everybody, because there were concerns when I wanted to get into career as to who will look after the children, who will look after the home, how will you balance both. It is difficult, and that's the reason I went and joined my grandfather. I didn't go for a purely professional role.
Correct.
Working in family business, I think that is the advantage that family members have, where they can balance both their domestic roles as well as their professional roles. So I sort of lent into that, and I took advantage of that situation. One more other thing that I feel is that I've been able to allocate no equal focus on both aspects, whether it is family, and my extended family, as well as the business itself. So if that hadn't happened, and if I had said no, I will just choose one over the other, then I wouldn't be in a position today
Yes.
where I can state that at least I've completed almost 3 decades of
Yes.
in the workspace. So that is, I think, a very fine balance. And unfortunately, women are the only people who have to do that. They are the ones who have to balance both family and career. I mean, you don't ask a man, how are you balancing work
Yes.
and life? Because, I mean, that's how their society has brought them up. But women, the first question that women get asked if they are successful in the workplace is, how are you balancing
Yes.
work as well as your personal life? So it is always difficult, and there is no one size that fits everybody. It's
Yeah.
what works for each person. But I feel that if you prioritize, you will be able to allocate a good focus to both areas, and you will
Yeah.
try to bring both together.
What I can say is, you mentioned about two aspects. There is one other aspect in work-life balance, which people, I feel like all working women, especially from women's perspective, when they say work-life balance, what these days I am realizing is, they talk about how much you are contributing to work, how much you are contributing to taking care of the family, taking care of the business, taking care of the family. So most of the women whoever can continue work can handle these two. But the other aspect of personal life. So, what is that me time?
Yeah,
Are you
true.
taking care of your health? Are you
Yes.
taking care of your passions? That is
Yes.
entirely
Yes.
so. It's as if they feel getting that some time to go and do work itself is their personal
Yes.
time.
Yes.
So,
True.
what I'm admiring in your life journey is you're also taking care of that part.
Yes, I think,
So,
see, at the end of the day, Mohana, one needs to be physically fit,
yes, yes,
mentally fit also,
yes,
for
yes,
you to be able to handle all phases in your life.
yes,
And it's not just for a shorter term in your own life, because when you're 20, 30, even if you don't focus too much on those areas, you are fit enough to get things done. But
yes,
once you hit 40, 50,
correct,
60, and if you want to have a long tenure of a
correct,
comfortable family life, if you want to be able to contribute mentally to whatever work you're doing,
correct,
I think one needs to have that allocation towards
yes,
your own self and your own growth.
yes.
So that growth has to happen continuously
Hmm.
until the last day that we breathe.
Hmm.
So growth is not just growing, physically, but
Yes,
also mentally. So,
yes,
and then there are numerous ways. So each person definitely has interests. They definitely have some hobbies that they might have had when they were young,
yeah,
but unfortunately they are put on the on the back burner for a while because other priorities take center
yeah,
stage. But there will come a time, because see, different phases in life happen. Yes, had you asked me this question 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't have had any me time. But today I do have, because children have grown.
yes,
I don't have that many responsibilities on the home front because everybody is mostly independent.
yes,
But then you ask maybe 15 years back or 20 years back, the story would have been different, because
hmm.
then you need to allocate that time. Because if you don't, then it becomes a different
Correct,
scenario.
correct,
But yes, I think I would advocate that women, especially because they tend to neglect themselves, they
yes,
tend to focus on everybody else in the family
yes,
and put their needs always at the last.
yes,
So, but again, if you look at today's generation, I think they do have a different
hmm.
mindset. They are equally focusing on themselves, on their
Yes,
own personal growth. So, I think it's moving towards
correct.
better lifestyle choices also.
That is a good change that we have to see. We are seeing, and we have to have more people handle that as well.
Yes.
Because only when a woman and the family is
Yes.
healthy,
Yes.
the relationships, the
Yes.
whole family will continue to be
Yes.
fruitful, continue to be happy. Because that physical and mental health is necessary for long tenure. Yeah.
And also, Mohana, I think now that I've come to a certain age, we should use this the stage in our life to be able to call out when such things
Yes.
are being done. I mean, there may be somebody in the family that might comment on somebody else who's
Hmm.
taking out that time. So I think we should at least stand for such people who are
Yes.
actually prioritizing their own health, their own physical, mental health, vis-a-vis people who are not, and then who are sitting in judgment on these people.
Hmm.
So I think we should also use our space and our position to be able to call out these things.
Yeah, one other question. I always have this gender neutral mentality throughout my 17 years of corporate career. So I never saw positive or negative of being a woman, especially because I worked in New York. But coming to entrepreneurial journey, starting my own business, especially I got to know you. That is the time when I feel that being a woman is actually helping me
Yes.
getting the recognition, getting some maybe government benefits as subsidiaries. We are not using it yet, but there are
Yeah.
so many things, there are so many advantages of being a woman. When do you think it is okay and it is good to play a woman card for business growth?
So you very rightly pointed out that sometimes being a woman is an advantage, especially when it is male dominated. This could be a boardroom where you're the lone women independent director there. It could be in a lot of forums where very few women are there. At that point of time, because today gender inclusion, integration of all genders is playing a vital role in society, in businesses, there is a little advantage given to women. So
Yes.
I think we should capitalize on that and utilize that moment to be able to voice out the general perspective that we feel being a minority in those areas. So, see, when I became the chairperson of Confederation of Indian Industry for Telangana, at that point of time, there were very few women who were actually in that role. So that gave me a lot of visibility in media, on social, on online platforms, because being a lady leading a male-dominated industry forum sort of made a lot of noise. It works two ways. Either you can do really well and be the toast of everybody, or the one single, but then you're always under the magnifying glass, and that
Correct.
one single mistake will get magnified, and then
Yes.
people will say, oh, because she's a lady, she probably screwed
Yeah.
up like that. But for men, that doesn't happen. They don't generalize. But for women, normally that happens. So I was very careful during that 2 year tenure when I was heading the industry forum that I shouldn't actually be at the receiving end of any negative issues, because I didn't want the industry forum itself to feel that no, getting a women in that position means that no, they will end up doing these sort of issues. I didn't want to close the doors behind me, rather
Yeah.
open it wider so that there will be more women, that because I've done a good job, because she's a lady and she's done a good job, that we can then look at more ladies to come into this position.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
So that is what I think I strived to do. And unfortunately, because the percentage is still very small of women who come into these positions, the one or two who actually break or crack that glass ceiling will have to be very careful so
Yes.
that they do not taint the perception of the other majority of the people there.
Correct.
I think this will happen for some more time until it becomes a real true equality. Today, for men, nobody says, oh, because he's a man, no,
Correct.
he did that. They
Correct.
just say because that person is, he has that attitude and that's the reason, no, he probably failed. But when it comes to a woman, they say, oh, because she's a lady, it happened like that.
Yeah. So I was actually heading Women in IT WIT group, heading almost 400 people when I was working in corporate. So I was very conscious, as you mentioned. I didn't want to make it as, oh, these ladies are getting grants, are these having fun. So I want to I actually made it into very, very effective session that all men are like, why only women are getting this advantage?
Right.
Then I said, okay, why don't you come over, join us? So because everything is business oriented,
Yes.
everything is very, very knowledge and informative sessions. So it actually helped many
True.
people.
True.
So we have that consciousness.
Yes.
And if you remember, I asked you around 5-6 years back because you talked about the visibility.
Yes.
So I approached because I was new to all this visibility, networking. So with my conscious upbringing or patriarchy, as you mentioned, because we came from similar backgrounds, even though at different scales, I was not comfortable with that visibility.
True.
So you are the one who pushed me, saying that visibility is good, especially being in business. But you can be conscious and you deserve it. Even if somebody is giving you an award, we are conscious and we think, oh, yeah, am I deserving this award?
Yeah.
But men will not think so. So when something is given to you, you proudly accept it and live up to it. So that's how it should be.
Yeah, I heard a lot about this imposter syndrome, and that a lot of women have it, because they always feel, they undermine their own capabilities, they undermine their own merit and competencies. So when they get appreciated or they get recognized for something, they always feel, am I deserving of that? And what I actually understood, because going through a lot of training for these sort of issues, even men feel it, but then they're very good at not showing it out, and they fake it a lot, which I came to know. So this lady that I was speaking to, and she's quite a senior person in industry, and so they say that every person normally has this feeling of getting inhibited or apprehensive about getting recognized for the good work that they've done. And so what she sort of advised is fake it and just go ahead with it, and over time you'll know how to manage it. So probably that's, I think, for our generation, maybe your generation too. But if you look at the current generation, I think they're very confident. I don't
Correct.
think they will have these issues of
Yes.
the imposter syndrome. It might die out in maybe a couple of decades. So, but still being women and growing up in this conservative traditional societies, you still have a lingering feeling of those inhibitions and
Yes.
apprehensions. In fact, even when you called me for this podcast, I was a little apprehensive. I mean, what am I going to speak? What is it that I can share to the audience who will be listening and to us? Am I really deserving of coming sitting here and talking to to the rest of the world about maybe my insights? So that's always there. That apprehension is always there.
You are well worthy, and so many people would love to hear from you with your experiences. So,
Mohan, I always feel that it's on the spectrum. So yeah, I might be a little ahead on the spectrum, but there's still a lot of a long way
yes,
to go.
yes, that is one of the things I
Yeah.
wanted to ask about. I would say, being a woman, though there are some negativities, it's a luxury. So at
sometimes.
40, at 50,
Yes.
you have your own comfort of, do you want to go ahead in the
Yes.
career, or you want to
Yes.
just take it easy.
Yes.
But men may not have that luxury sometimes.
Very true. Very true.
So when everything is going good, when it is not financial obligation, what is it that motivates us, saying that should I move forward? At this age, you are actually doing the directorial
Yes.
from ISB. So
So
what?
I feel that see beyond a certain stage, I mean, the initial stages will be financial. It might be because you have a certain passion towards doing well in one domain of where you're good at. Maybe you have an expertise in certain subjects. You want to utilize your strengths there. Probably after having spent about 25, 30, maybe 40 years in that domain, unless you get a higher purpose, you
Yes.
feel that you're motivated by some higher purpose of giving back.
What is your purpose?
So for me, it is giving back to at least to society in many ways. I mean, it could be mentoring, the younger women. I do a lot of mentoring because I'm part of a lot of forums.
Yes.
So I do mentor a lot of the mid manager and the senior manager ladies to get to the next level, because I feel women need that mentoring. They need a person where they can actually share their inhibitions, their apprehensions, questions that they might want about how to navigate their own careers.
Yes.
And I felt when I was growing up in my own career, I really didn't have anybody like that. I mean,
Yeah.
the most I could do is maybe talk to my husband, or that was only it. Because any other family member, I go and say that, oh, I'm facing this difficulty. The first thing they would say, who's asking you to go and work? Why don't you quit and sit at home? Because
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to be doing. And who asked you to go out and
Correct.
stretch yourself?
Correct.
So I didn't have that luxury of going and talking to somebody and sharing your issues or problems. And those days, networking, these forums were actually not available for us. Today, you have a host, in fact, a plethora of such forums where any
Correct.
forum that you get attached to, there will be somebody who you can look up to, who will groom you, who will mentor you. There are a lot of opportunities that way. So today it's become a buzzword, and it's become
Correct.
a common practice for
Correct.
every person, whether man or woman.
Yes. Earlier, we used to think networking means
Yes.
going after work
Yes.
and then having a couple of drinks, and
Yes.
that is the only way your
Yes.
business will grow.
Yes.
But now there are so many opportunities. There's
And women are redefining it, no, because
Correct,
it's
correct.
just not about going for that smoke or going, for a
Correct.
drink after work. It's
Yeah.
much different than that.
Yes.
And today, yes, I mean, I remember in my initial days of networking, I used to feel very inhibited to go and talk to another person, give them my business card, talk to them about my own company, because that's how they understand what my company is all about.
Yes.
And that's how you build, relationships. That's how you build connections, and then you never know where one connection might lead to something.
Yes.
But over time, I think I've realized probably experience and probably age also has something to do, because today I'm a little older and wiser. So now I really don't mind doing it. I'm a little bit more open about doing it ahead of people asking me. So in fact,
Yes.
many times I'm the first person who sort of goes and introduces myself, and then gives my card and talks about my company to
Yes.
people in, say, a networking forum.
Yes. The way you balanced life, work, and your health, that gives you happy hormones, I can say, and
Yes.
gives you confidence.
Yes.
The way you're such a beautiful lady.
Thank you.
Not inside, not only inside, but outside. So that comes with the health, that comes with the confidence, that comes with happy family and people around. When you don't have regrets, of course, here and there will be, but still, to the confidence and how you continue with
So
your
I
career.
think a lot of that has to do with acceptance of what has been given to you and what
Yeah.
destiny has offered you, and then making the best out of it. And I think that's what I've done.
Hmm.
And when you say about the physical fitness, I think I was very lucky to get into the company of people who sort of inspired me to challenge my physical limits. And that's how I was able to get into marathon running or long distance cycling, and that helped a lot because in these long distance endurance events, it's
Yeah.
all about endurance, it's all about resilience, and it's all about mind because ultimately it's mind over your
Yes.
body.
Yes.
And if your mind can get your body to finish that distance, I think
Yes.
that itself is no success.
Yes.
So that's how I ran a couple of full marathons, which
That's
is actually very
fantastic.
difficult for
Yeah.
a person that never even walked a mile.
Yes,
I was able to
yes.
do two of them. I was able to do a couple of long distance
Yeah.
cycling events.
Hmm.
That I think translated back into my entire persona. So whether
Yes.
it's at work, whether it's any in personal relationships, you're going, see, everything has ups and downs.
Yes.
So during those down moments, I think that resilience and that ability to endure that
Correct.
helps you to come out of it. And also, I think having a positive attitude, looking at the positivity in every situation, and
Yes.
no single person on this earth will have a stress-free life.
Yes.
It's
Correct.
how you choose to deal with that stress will define the way that you live.
Yes.
And of course, I've learned a lot from a lot of people. I keep listening to a lot of influential people, how they have dealt. Because see, we always look at the success part of it.
Correct.
We really don't know what is underneath. But the very fact that they've gone through all these and then come up to be that successful person that they are means that they've been able to overcome those challenges in the best way possible.
Yes.
So I think those are the learnings that I've been able to imbibe unconsciously, and I've been able to translate that into my own life. So yes, there are umpteen stresses. It can be the small stresses of daily
Yes.
life, and it can be big stresses of maybe career, your business that you're responsible for. It's how you deal with it, how you choose to accept whatever that you can't control, and then try to change things that are within your control. I think that is what has helped me come to this level.
Very nice. Very nice. I would love to hear about your directorial program at ISB on women in legacy businesses. That's
So,
a very interesting
yeah.
topic to be.
So I'm actually doing a PhD in ISB, and I mean, if you recollect, I always had this ambition of becoming a doctor, a medical doctor. That didn't happen.
You want to get the doctor.
So yes, that is one of the
Yeah.
motivations. But there
That's
was
good.
another motivation when I was in high school. I think when I was in the 7th or 8th class, I had a friend in class, and you know how young schoolgirls are. They always love to read palms to know what their future would be like. So I remember this girl, this friend of mine, who looked at my palm, and she knew that the background that I came from, and she said, "Vanita, you won't even finish 10th. With great difficulty, you might finish
Wow.
10th grade.
Wow.
I know you said you want to be a doctor and all that. That's never going to happen in your community and your family. Even if 10th also, I'm doubtful. You will get married before that, and then you'll just be a homemaker, just like the rest of your community." And that sort of gave me a sting somewhere inside that, oh no, that shouldn't happen. Because at that point, see, I was just 13, 14 at that time, and I desperately wanted to be a doctor. So I didn't want that to happen. And then when I got into the medical entrance, I didn't pass the medical entrance. I didn't get a free seat. There was an opportunity because a few friends who didn't get through the free quota went to the neighboring states, paid
Yeah.
for a donation, and then
Yeah.
I tried that route. But my family, they said, no, nothing
Yeah.
doing. We want to get you married first. I remember one of them said, "Where will we find a doctor husband for you if you become?" My father, being a doctor, he felt that a doctor's life was very tough
Yes.
and not suitable for women. So
Yeah.
he was not. He was actually against me, getting into that profession. And those days, they never thought that women should have career. So
Yeah.
there was nobody who could guide me, saying that if not medicine, look at other streams within the science field.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get into the science
Hmm.
after that. So after high school, I moved into Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
But somewhere that, it stung. And then when
Yeah.
I got married when I was 18, I just finished my first year of my undergraduate degree. People expected me to sit at home after that.
Hmm.
And I got married just after my exams got over for the first year. And when college reopened after the vacation, and I said, I'm going back to college, everybody said, why?
Oh wow. Hmm.
And I said, no, I would like to go back to college. And see, the thing is, in those days, usually marriage is the last stop for women. And I
Correct.
mean, basically, that's
Correct.
their ambition, and that's it. And then after that, you really don't have to study because you're expected to take care of home and all the
Yeah.
domestic duties. But I went back to college, and then what happened is my husband shifted to the US to do his master's. So I had to leave my bachelor's in between. I didn't graduate here, I went off. So all throughout, I always felt I'm no longer, I don't have a degree in hand,
Hmm.
and my childhood friends'
Prediction.
prediction is coming true. So
Yeah.
I'm ultimately going to be the unqualified homemaker.
Hmm.
So I think somewhere that always stuck to me, and I felt whatever opportunity is there, that I should not come out of that particular rut.
Yes.
So in the US, along with my husband, I did join the university there. I took a lot of courses. But the undergraduate program in the US is again a 4-year program.
Correct.
My husband was doing a master's, and that got over in 1.5 years. So he got a job. So again, I moved. So again, I had to discontinue. So everywhere I was discontinuing and not completing. Then by the time I had my children, I came back to India, and then I have two toddlers now on hand. What do I do? I'm still not a graduate. I don't even have a bachelor's degree on hand. So somewhere I thought I should change, and life was falling into a pattern of just being a daughter-in-law, a mother to my children, and being a wife, and just like a regular typical housewife.
Yeah.
So then what I did is one day I thought, okay, let me at least finish my undergraduate program that I did start in India. Let me try to finish it through the distant mode. So I went and finished my bachelor's through a distant mode.
Nice.
And at that point, there was this new institution, the CFA, the Chartered Financial
Yes.
Analyst program.
Very difficult.
It was a difficult, but I really didn't know how difficult it was. And I just sort of by chance just put in an application. And I was very surprised to receive a letter saying that, no, we'd like you to come and join, at least attend the interview to see if we can accept you or not. And when I went for that interview, actually I was much older to all the people who had come, because this was in 1995.
Yeah.
India was still not yet forward thinking at that point of time. Internet had not yet come here. Computers were very rare. And when I attended that interview, I was about 26 or 27, and all my other cohort mates had just come out of engineering colleges. So they must have been 21, 22 or something, very young. But I apparently spoke well, so then they chose me. And so I joined the first batch of the campus CFA program. And of course, when I joined the first day of class and we were introducing each of us to one another, it turned out that I was the only married student, the only student who had children, and one of the very few women in that class, because I think out of a class of 89, we were just 6 women.
Wow.
So yes, it was a difficult time, and I had to relearn so many things that I had forgotten, because there was a huge
Yes.
gap in my academics till at that point of time.
Yeah.
But it was surprising that with diligence I was able to stand second in the graduating
Wow.
class.
Wow.
And this is compared to students who just finished engineering. There were some from IITs, they were from very good engineering colleges. But I think what I was able to bring to the program was a dedication to the course, to the curriculum, to the project work. Whereas for them, most of them had come from out of city. So they were enjoying student life and without the supervision of parents. So they didn't submit no assignments. They would bunk classes and all that.
Especially this is to prove to yourself.
And
So
see,
maybe
for me, I was doing it for myself. For
Correct.
them, probably, somebody would have told them, go and study that. So that's
Correct.
how they've come in.
Correct.
So that I think was a turning point in my, it was surprising to me that even I stood second
Yeah.
in class. Then I realized that I had something in me, and that I could actually do something that I put my mind to. And at that point, at that point of time, I had also asked my grandfather to come and work with him because, see, one, not having any qualification, not having any outside experience,
Yes.
who would give me a job if I had
Yes.
to go outside and work?
Yes.
So I utilized the available opportunity
Correct.
was my own grandfather. So I went
Correct.
and asked him. He was also surprised because he probably didn't expect me to come and ask him for a job. But then he couldn't say no to me, and so he put me in the one of the softer positions that he could at that point of time.
Yes.
And I sort of sensed that he thought it will be maybe 6 months, 1 year or so, and once the real business problems I sort of come across, I might quit and I might say, I've had enough of this and I might stop. So they didn't envisage that I'll continue for so long. And actually, this coming December, I think I will be completing 30 years in my career in
Wow.
industry.
Wow.
It is very rare for women from that generation to
Correct.
continue so long.
Correct. Correct. So regarding this woman in legacy businesses,
Yeah.
so generally they avoid. They
Yeah.
avoid
So
even.
yeah. So coming back to how I got into this PhD was I was see after that I finished my CFA and the MBA program. It was a dual program, but I was always continuously learning on the job because whichever industry or whichever company that I joined, I really was again very new to the domain knowledge. I didn't have the domain expertise. So each place that I would go, I would try to learn and imbibe from my seniors, from the professionals that were there in the company. I would sit with them, learn on the job itself.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times that I did try to join some doctoral programs in the past. It didn't happen. In 2020, when this opportunity came at the Indian School of Business, and I applied for it, and then I got through. And again, of course, when I joined the cohort that I have, I think I'm the only grandmother there. All the rest are married with
Beautiful
young children.
grandmother.
Yeah, so all my rest of the cohort are professionals, quite senior in their companies, but they're all young parents with young children. Again, I'm the only grandmother there. So, yeah, recently I've just submitted my thesis. I'm awaiting my advisory committee to come back with feedback, and I'm hoping that I should get the defense pretty soon, the dates for the defense soon.
Yeah, I feel this is
So
very
I'm
important.
actually doing research on women from family businesses because
Yes.
that is a area that is under researched
Correct.
worldwide.
Yes.
And
Yes.
while we think the more developed nations are more gender inclusive, they're more progressive towards women. Unfortunately, in family businesses, even in the most progressive societies,
Yeah.
women are sort of not the first choice to be thought of when
Yes.
inviting them into the family business. It's always the male heirs
Yes.
or the male successors.
Yeah, I feel this is more of a movement.
Yes.
I can say because whenever we are bringing in the whole concept of diversity is that.
Yes.
So when we are increasing this much diversity in corporate, why not into our own businesses?
Yes.
Because they go through ups and downs.
Yes,
So
yes.
when men go through ups and downs,
Yes.
they already feel women may not be able to handle the
Yes,
emotional
yes.
aspect of it.
So that's the major issue because they understand the complexities of
Yes.
a business
Yes.
and they feel that women may not be able to handle it.
Hmm.
But what they fail to understand is women are more resilient in
Correct.
nature and they bring a different perspective.
Definitely.
And they will always complement the men in the family too because they
Definitely.
bring different skill sets. Men have different skill sets. And it is better that you have all hands on
Yes.
to actually help in a family business.
Correct.
So that, of course, a lot of men still don't understand.
Yes.
And because I do see a lot of businesses, and these are all large companies, large conglomerates. While they do talk about diversity, inclusion within the organization, when it comes to personal family,
Yes.
they again sort of have the very fine line that sort of divides the women and the men.
Yeah, as you said, they have given you the softest position.
Yes, yes.
So they want for the sake of name,
Yes,
for the sake
yes.
of business ownership,
Yes.
not in the
Yes,
crucial
yes.
positions.
Not
So-
strategically,
Correct.
they don't give them strategic positions where it is essential decision making skills. These are the areas that they are usually kept aside of.
Yes, it will change eventually.
Hopefully, yes, it will
yeah.
because in my own research, I've interviewed about 34 women across India.
Hmm.
And the younger generation among those women are doing extremely well and
Yes.
they are navigating their businesses really beautifully.
just especially family businesses compared
Yes.
to earlier.
Yes.
Earlier, family businesses were very traditional way of doing it,
Yes.
but eventually with this new generation,
Yes.
they are interested in the family businesses with the new way of doing things. They are transforming the whole thing and they're
True.
taking it to global scale.
True.
So they definitely need to include as a number of family businesses are growing,
Yes.
as and when more women are coming to the workforce.
Another aspect is also families are tending to become more smaller now. And sometimes families
Correct.
have only girls in there, as the next
Yes.
generation. So
Yeah.
then they are forced to then bring in, if
Correct.
and if they are showing the same merit and competency, then they are given the opportunity. And of course, a lot of men from the next generation also are being more open towards acceptance of women.
This podcast is conducted by Confederation. This is to help creating the platform, a marketplace for business collaborations. We are creating the knowledge sessions, mentoring, and maybe even fund the startups. So, what do you feel the need for these organizations, especially coming to Confederation?
So, see, a platform is always beneficial to the people that are a part of it. And when a ready-made platform, a marketplace is given, I think it gives a lot of opportunity for budging, fledgling companies. It gives an opportunity for also the existing companies to showcase their products and services. And sometimes, though we may be from the same community, the visibility of what we are actually doing may not be, may not be even exposing that to members of our own community. Especially if your company is from a very niche area and you are providing niche products or niche services, which are not mainstream, which are not consumer driven, then it becomes very difficult for maybe for a person like me to know what you Mohana is doing, or for Mohana to know what Vanita is doing. So these sort of platforms actually brings about that that visibility. It brings about awareness of what is available within our own network, and it can also be a platform for knowledge dissemination, not only about your own industry domain, but about general economic affairs also.
Yes. We had a couple of networking sessions recently. That's when, as you said, we may meet the people in a personal setting.
Yes.
When we met in this networking session, we realized, oh, we should have got the service of these guys rather than
Yes.
going to outside open market. So it's definitely understanding and putting them in that context will definitely help grow each other's business and refer each other's business.
Yes.
That's how part of them. There should be a lot of business development activity, but this also helps, especially for the newcomers into the business area.
Also, I think it will give an opportunity to network among the individuals themselves. It will give them opportunities to understand the personas of the industrialists, and it can be an opportunity for the younger generation to actually interact with the older generation. It can be an opportunity to probably seek out mentors, not to be able to get advice from people who've been successful in an industry.
Yes. You have helped so many organizations. We definitely would love to have your advice, your mentorship for not only women, men, everybody who is coming up to this organization for help. So we are looking forward to your contribution.
Definitely, Mohana. I'm always open, of course, given my present responsibilities. But yes, I've always been actively helping out, especially if it is women, then I definitely will stretch myself a little bit more, because I know that they need that helping hand and they need a person to listen to.
Yes.
It's not that I can bring solutions to them, but at least there is somebody to listen to their issues and maybe seek some advice or seek a different view, opinion. I think that is always very helpful.
Just to add some fun element, I would like to have some rapid fire.
Sure.
What is the first thing you do when you wake up?
So normally I do allocate some time for workouts, and of course now as soon as I wake up, you look at your mobile to see what's happening for the day or who's messaged you or something that you need to take care of. And also at this stage in my life, I've got elderly parents, elderly mother-in-law, so there could be some message about that. So that is the first thing that I do, and then of course I do allocate some time to do some sort of a workout.
One thing you have learned the hard way.
Well, you can't please everybody, and maybe early in life you tend to please everybody around you. But as you age, you tend to understand that you yourself are also important, and you do more things that will please you than other people.
You don't need to wear Superwoman cape all the time.
Yes, yes.
A book that changed your life.
There are multiple books, Mohana, and I've been reading since quite a young age. But of late, I haven't been able to read as much as I would love to. But from my early memories, I think more women oriented subjects I used to gravitate to, like Little Women. Um, Also, I like recently, I think I've read Michelle Obama's and then Indra Nooyi's books, and all those have given me so much of inspiration. So I usually gravitate towards very strong women oriented roles and women oriented subjects.
What you could have done differently if you're 20-year-old now.
Maybe studied better for the medical entrance, because that was always one regret, that I wasn't a medical doctor.
You're becoming a doctor anyway, so
Hopefully.
and you
Yeah.
have the tremendous knowledge. I mean, doctor, one of the reasons everybody want to become a doctor is how you help the society.
Yes, so
You
I'm
are helping the
trying.
society.
Yes, so yeah, so I always tell myself that had I been a doctor, maybe I'd have not helped too many people, but at least this way I am trying to help more people. So, but at the end of it, Mohana, no regrets. Whatever has happened, I've tried to make the best use of it.
One special moment with your grandfather.
Multiple special moments, but one thing that sort of stands out above the rest was when I was actually being by his side. I mean, it's common knowledge that when his entire group of companies was taken over.
You can mention the name and maybe a couple of
Yeah,
sentences.
so the Rasi Siemens group was taken over. It was a hostile takeover, and at that point, I was actually helping him during that takeover process. So there was a time when I was able to offer him a little bit of support and a feeling of being with him on his side. And I think he treasured that. So I think that stands out for me.
Very
And I
nice.
think at that point he actually knew that I was
You're
a
capable.
capable person. Until then, he
Yeah.
thought, yeah, she's just a girl in the
Yeah.
family. But
Girl,
until then,
he's doing a favor to give you some
Yeah.
soft position.
true.
One thing people don't know about you.
Well, I love to dance.
Hmm.
Not many people know about that.
Hmm.
I love music.
Hmm.
I love fun things in life. I love to travel.
Hmm. What type of dance?
Anything. I mean, I would have loved to have learnt the traditional Bharatanatyam or Kuchipudi, but unfortunately, my parents didn't allow me those days.
Hmm.
So I actually had encouraged my own daughter, and so she's a Bharatanatyam and a Kuchipudi dancer.
Very nice.
And I love freestyle dance.
Hmm. That's great. That's great.
So sometimes, what I couldn't do, I tried to get my children to do it.
Yeah, that's what parents are for.
I hope my children are not cursing me, but sort of, my dreams that I
Yeah.
couldn't achieve, I tried to get them to do
Yes.
it.
With good intentions. So,
Yes.
yeah. What is the advice you can give for the woman who wants to get into the entrepreneurial or who has to showcase that they are capable to get into the family business where there is resistance?
Well, what worked for me, I guess, is be in it for the long haul. It's not short term. Our outcomes will never be short term. It will take some time, especially if you don't really have the expertise or the domain knowledge. You will have to learn, and then only you'll be able to showcase your competency and merits. Be true to yourself. If that is what you really want, then work hard for it.
Yes.
I think that's what I did. Irrespective of whatever obstacles I faced, I think I hung in there. And that's what has helped me, come to this level. There were numerous opportunities where I could have given up and sat at home. And if I had done that, you wouldn't have called me here today.
Correct.
But despite that, having the resilience to overcome those challenges, take the learning from that and move forward. Accept whatever has happened, whether positive or negative, and move forward with all those learnings. I think that will help you. Of course, being an entrepreneur is not an easy task. One needs
Being
to
a woman
need
entrepreneur is more
yes,
difficult.
so one needs utmost patience. Even if you don't have it, you are forced to have it. Utmost resilience, because there will be a lot of challenges that you will have to face, and you will have to understand how to overcome those challenges with the available resources and the constraints that are there. You will have to be an excellent team player because there will be different personalities that one will have to work with.
Correct.
So how do you deal with? And I think being a woman gives you an added advantage because we do tend to listen to people rather
Yes.
than be overbearing. So I think that is one way that we can complement the people in the teams. Of course, a lot more traits, leadership styles are necessary, but don't just copy something that somebody
Yes.
has done. See what suits you and follow that. And at the end of the day, that fire in the belly has to be there, that passion has to be there for you to continue.
Yes.
It is not that because somebody has said something that I'll do this, or because this is the happening trend now, I'll do this. Because once that trend falls, and you don't have the passion to push through, then you will just you leave it there.
Yeah.
And I think for women, it is essential that they continue like men until the end of their lives.
Correct.
To be relevant to society, to be relevant to the community, to be relevant to their own families, and to be relevant to themselves.
Yes.
Because the more active you are and the more focused you are on some activity,
Yeah.
you will also tend to be more
Yes.
physically fit, mentally fit.
Correct.
The moment you sort of give up on a lot of these things, there a lot of deterioration happens. And as women, I would not like that to see that happen, especially in the next generation of women.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, women have a very important role to play to society and to play in nation building.
Yes.
And if women can understand that they are also true participants in nation building, which today they don't understand,
Yes.
and it is not even told to them.
Yes.
They feel whatever they're doing is only for themselves or their family. But they have a huge role in that to be
Yes.
able to contribute to nation building. And I
Correct.
think our country requires it.
Definitely. Because when you are working hard and when you have the
Yeah.
resilience, these
Yes.
are not buzzwords.
Yes.
These are the actual things that you go
Yes.
through. And you continue your career or you are contributing to the society. Kids actually see it.
Yes.
Kids get the confidence. Kids
Yes.
get role models from the family itself.
Yes.
They don't need to look outside.
Outside.
And that gives them confidence, that puts them in the right path. That definitely helps for
And
future
ultimately, you
generations.
come to a stage where you start paying it forward. You start paying it back to society, back to people who need that help. You start paying it forward, in enabling more especially women to to come up, to climb that ladder, to come into those positions. Because today, see, a lot more people sit in judgment, they criticize.
Yeah.
But what are we trying to do to change the situation? I think we
Yes.
need to see that.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time today. It's pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Mohana. It was really an honor to be speaking with you today.
Thank you. I hope you all have enjoyed our conversation today with Vanitha Datla. For more episodes, please stay tuned to Confederation in YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Let's join and grow together.